been able to play. He's been getting it done. Michael Jordan will take on the Raptors a week from today on CTV.
NBA Halftime on CTV. Brought to you by RBC Investments, Canada's leader for professional wealth management.
It is 48-43 heading to the third quarter here at Air Canada Centre. Among those courtside, there is Zoke, Richard Zokol, longtime competitor in the Canadian golf scene, world golf scene. Congratulations to him, because Zoke's heading back to the PGA Tour, and with him is Lauren Rubenstein, one of the great golf writers in Canada, along with the great the great basketball broadcaster Leo Routens is with me. And let's talk about that second quarter. 30 points for Toronto, obviously much better than the first stanza. Vince Carter and Tracy Murray provided 26 of those 30 points.
And the Raptors did other things as well. They have a +8 advantage on the glass, 10 offensive rebounds. Really working hard there. And remember, Phoenix was getting some easy hoops early on. Percentages dropped to 38% thanks to the defensive effort. So not only did they get the scoring, but they got a well-rounded effort in that second quarter.
Well, Stephon Marbury and Penny Hardaway working some magic early on in the first quarter. The Suns came out running. Raptors couldn't really solve their riddle, but then did in the second quarter.
Yeah, Suns have been struggling with their transition offense last couple of games and their defense, but the Raptors, again, have picked it up. Vince Carter doing a great job of attacking the basket. One of the reasons he's getting to the line and finding his teammate Tracy Murray. Vince can really draw the defense, and that's one of the reasons Murray had 12 in the second quarter.
I remember a week ago, Tracy Murray lit it up in the second quarter against Boston, and then everything fell apart for Toronto a week ago against the Celtics. Percentages about the same. Everything's pretty close, and it's a 5-point Toronto lead. And once again, let's join Sunil Joshi.
Gentlemen, just spoke to Lenny Wilkins on the way out of the locker room, and he suggested he wants to see his team pick up where it left off in the second quarter. He thought the team came out very, very lethargic and slow in the first quarter. He also wants the team to step it up when it comes to being aggressive, both defensively and on the offensive glass. Guys?
Big number here for the Toronto Raptors is 10. 10-0 so far this season when they lead at the half. Leading here today, Vince Carter, 21. Tracy Murray with 12 points. The Raptors, big number 2, 6 of 12 from beyond the arc. And that is one of the reasons, the key reasons, when they started knocking down shots in that second quarter. Third quarter now underway here at the Air Canada Centre.
Phoenix Suns, Rod, applying some full court pressure, token pressure, but they're trying to slow the ball down a little bit.
Both teams played overtime games on Friday. Phoenix losing in Boston. Raptors winning here against the Denver Nuggets. Peterson given a free lane to the cup, and it looks like he got smacked on the way there.
Lenny Wilkins pleading for the call right now. A lot of contact. Now, we've seen a lot of no calls in the first half for the Toronto Raptors going to the basket. Let's see if there's some contact. Definitely contact as Mo Peterson took it right at Voskuhl. The officials not acknowledging the play, and Phoenix getting the ball.
Looked like he may have hit his head actually against Hakeem Olajuwon as well on the way towards the baseline. So the Suns, remember, came out storming the first part of this ball game. Went on a huge run. And a 12-point lead. Sean Marion. Rodney Rogers. Lost it. Here comes Toronto. Alvin Williams on the run. Stops. Marion, another rebound for him. 7 for Sean Marion. Jake Voskuhl had it stripped by Carter, but he fouled him.
And again, the strength of Jake Voskuhl, Rod, just running right up the middle of the floor. He's going to go baseline to baseline and try to pick up a cheap hoop. At the other end, the Raptors don't need a quick shot by Alvin Williams in transition. Again, it's one thing if you're feeling it and you're hot, but Alvin Williams is off to a slow start, just 1 of 5.
Vince Carter's third personal. Penny Hardaway, a leaner. Keon Clark gets the rebound. 11 rebounds so far for Clark. Peterson had an easy one, a little too strong.
You just want to slow it down a little bit. You have a size advantage over Marbury. You don't want to rush the shot while trying to give yourself a little bit better angle and drop foul.
Marbury to Marion. Olajuwon the rebound. Hakeem with 6 boards, no points for Olajuwon so far today. Keon Clark, 11 rebounds, 4 points. And on the floor is Rodney Rogers. The whistle goes the other way against Toronto. Let's join Sunil.
Guys, injury update from the Phoenix Suns. Tom Gugliotta has a left quad strain and is questionable for the second half. Also, Penny Hardaway and Bo Outlaw had an animated discussion regarding how the defense went sort of disappeared in the second quarter for the Suns. They were outscored 30-18.
Marion, desperation heave at the shot clock. And Alvin Williams to Vince. Quick 3-ball.
See Vince trying to put the team on his shoulders right now, saying, hey, we're struggling offensively, give me the ball, take the shot. But that's not the shot they need. Remember, in the second quarter, good ball movement, taking the ball to the basket was what made the difference on offense for Toronto.
We've almost gone 3 minutes, and we have not had a basket in this second half.
And you want to take advantage of Phoenix struggling if you're Toronto, so you want to slow things down and be very patient. They haven't taken advantage of Keon Clark or Olajuwon, especially Akeem Olajuwon in this game down in the post. He's only taken 3 shots.
Carter had it blocked by Marion. Voskuhl on the floor with the ball. Outlet to Marion. To Marbury. High off the glass, Keon Clark. Rebound again, and he's got over a dozen rebounds now, 13 in the game for Keon Clark.
Check the water in the locker room. Something's gone crazy here. My goodness. Let's see, that's just not a good entry pass. Alvin Williams trying to throw it inside. Akeem Olajuwon. 2 defenders there. Alvin showing frustration. Akeem Olajuwon also not comfortable getting the ball in the post. Rod, I mentioned he's only taken 3 shots. He hasn't made any, but he hasn't really had some good looks from his teammates.
And swishing it from the corner, Rodney Rogers. The 3-pointer finally breaks the drought of baskets and makes this a 2-point ball game suddenly.
And that's the danger of this Phoenix team, Rod. They have some players like Rodney Rogers who can knock down some threes. Stephon Marbury can get hot at any point in time.
And a whistle away from the ball. Penny Hardaway and Mo Peterson were jostling, and Penny Hardaway picked up the foul.
A frustrating time for both coaches, Roddy. You look at an opportunity to really build the lead or get back in the game and get the lead if you're Scott Skiles. But unfortunately, both teams really struggling with their offense and decision making.
Vince Carter cross court to Alvin Williams. Marbury right up on him. Williams shot over the backboard. Olajuwon picks it up.
I see the Raptors should look inside Olajuwon. There's the pass, but not a good pass. Olajuwon right under the bucket. You can't throw a lob pass when the player is that close to the basket, Rod. You have to give him a little bit more time. But as soon as Olajuwon got that rebound and kicked it out, that's when you throw the ball inside. You see, just too close to get it over Voskuhl's head and in the hands of Olajuwon. That rim is going to become an obstacle.
20-second timeout. By the way, Keon Clark now has a season-high 13 rebounds. He had 12 against Denver, which established his season high on Friday to go with his 16 points. So today he has 13 rebounds and 4 points.
Rod, you know what happens when you don't give your big guys the ball consistently? They don't try to establish their position aggressively. When Akeem Olajuwon got that offensive rebound, he kicked it out to Mo Peterson, and he didn't aggressively try to get position in the post because he's not very confident that he's going to get it back. That's why you want to reward your big guys. Let them know that if you work hard on the glass, if you rebound for me, you block shots, I'm going to give you the touches that you need to be comfortable offensively.
Akeem Olajuwon held off the score sheet so far, but the 8 rebounds for the preeminent shot blocker in NBA history, as a matter of fact, all-time leading shot blocker. And Tom Gugliotta looks like he is done for the day. The timeout, he didn't even come off the bench. So just another setback, it seems, for a guy who has just been injury-riddled, Tom Gugliotta. Alvin Williams, Stephon Marbury, close. Keon Clark, back out to Vince Carter. 3-ball. Olajuwon has it. 1 on the shot clock. Sean Marion on the tap gets the rebound. Stephon Marbury hopping to the basket, will go to the line. What a play by Stephon Marbury.
And just tremendous body control, Roddy. So good at just leaning into the defense, hanging in midair, getting that ball up softly. Little flip with the right hand. Crossover in the lane, protects the ball from Olajuwon reaching in and getting that contact from Keon Clark. Rod, you know what's interesting? Going back to last year's All-Star game in Washington, I asked all of the teammates of Stephon Marbury in that game, who's the one player that you're looking most forward to playing against? Guess his name came up, Marbury. Every single player. So you think of the criticism he had in Jersey. A lot of people were thinking, hey, big mistake for Phoenix to get rid of Jason Kidd. Then why is he the one player everybody wants to play with?
Well, the respect from his peers is probably the most respect. Oh, alley-oop to Vince Carter with the throwdown, and the Raptors go up by one again.
Rod, good things happen when you penetrate and get into the seams. Alvin Williams putting the ball on the floor, getting into the lane. Vince Carter reading that play great. They made eye contact. Easy two.
Stephon Marbury with another circus shot. Let's see the
you get into the lane. You get into the lane, the left, and Vince Carter, everybody forgetting about him, going up in the baseline. Sean Marion fell asleep, and Vince Carter made the move. But at the other end, after you score, you've got to get back on defense. Stephon Marbury doing a great job of catching the Raptors napping after a spectacular play by Vince Carter.
To make it a three-point play and give the Suns a two-point lead, Stephon Marbury looking like Nick Van Exel did the other night with some highly acrobatic shots for the Denver Nuggets here.
It really was an entertaining game. We talked about that where Nick Van Exel and Vince Carter were going back and forth. What's amazing is Van Exel in that Denver Nuggets game, Rod, had no points in the first half, 27 in the second half, including overtime.
Stephon Marbury picks up the foul on the baseline, watching this man, Alvin Williams. Marbury again right up on Alvin Williams. Under 7 minutes, third quarter. Vince Carter spinning. Couldn't knock it down. Here comes Marbury. 5 abreast for the Suns. Hardaway. Scoop shot, reverse lay-in, beautiful.
Now, everything the Phoenix Suns have gotten, other than Rodney Rogers knocking down a three here in the second half to get the lead, Rod, has been a layup. Taking that ball to the basket, scoring either layups or getting three-point play opportunities. Raptors just 1 of 10 to start the third.
And doing what they did in that first quarter, moving the basketball, pushing it up court quickly, and doing a lot of this.
Another transition hoop. And Lenny Wilkins extremely upset with his team right now, saying, hey, if you guys aren't going to get back, sit down. You have to run the floor. Phoenix just looking to push after makes or misses by the Raptors. And Rod, a lot more misses than makes, only one going down thus far.
High energy from the Phoenix Suns again. Reminiscent of the first quarter, they have a 6-point lead.
Something that simply mystifies me. Tell me why it should be.
Introducing the 2002 Hyundai Sonata. More power, more room, more desirable.
Something to me that nobody else can do.
We're back at the Air Canada Center. Phoenix on a 13-2 run, and they hold a 6-point lead over the Toronto Raptors, getting out in transition and getting some easy hoops. Watch Keon Clark and his teammates as the Phoenix Suns push the ball up the court. Standing, not running hard. Now right here, Alvin Williams had to say, hey, I got ball, you get back, and Olajuwon is away from the ball. He's got to come down here and protect the basket and hold the fort. Instead, Keon Clark takes his time. Sean Marion, a wide open jump shot from a nice pass from Stephon Marbury. Rod, you have to communicate when you get back on defense. Your number one priority is to protect the basket, pick up the ball, but don't give up easy shots.
I would suggest if this continues that Lenny Wilkins will probably do what he did in the first half and make some serious substitutions to get some of those players that can inject energy like Jerome Williams and Chris Childs into the game. And again, the Suns on the go.
And everything on the perimeter by the Toronto Raptors, settling for one jump shot after the other. And Phoenix getting easy looks, ball movement, pushing that ball up the court, dropping the ball off for easy two.
Sean Marion has a double-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds. The Suns, one of 3 teams in the NBA that have 3 players in the top 40 in scoring. Marion, Hardaway, and Marbury. The other 2 teams, Dallas and the Los Angeles Lakers. Shot clock at 3. Keon Clark has to let it go, and it goes.
A tough shot, maybe not exactly the type of shot Lenny Wilkins wanted to see, but an aggressive move trying to get into the lane. Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the top 50 players, correct?
Yes.
Who is he playing against? He's playing against role players. Jake Bosco. He's got to go inside. The Raptors have to look to establish something on the interior, not just settle for the shots on the outside.
Hardaway off balance, and maybe try to slow it down and get Phoenix out of sync. Vince Carter through the legs is fouled by Marbury.
Hey, see, the misconception is, can the Raptors run with the Phoenix Suns? Absolutely. The Raptors can get up and down the floor and play Phoenix Suns style of game. You do want to if you're doing the job defensively. To run, one, you want to get good shots. And running does not mean taking bad shots and rush shots. You can still execute if you don't get it at the end of the break. But defensively, you have to have transition defense and get back every play to be a good running team.
Team 21-footer doesn't go, and a loose ball foul against Phoenix this time. Jake Voskuhl, and that's his third, so Keon Clark will go to the line, and indeed here comes Chris Childs, and he will spell Morris Peterson. Childs has taken off the wrap he had on his hand. Chris Childs has had a lot of injuries. In fact, we're not in the penalty, so Keon Clark will not shoot. Childs will inbound. Chris Childs has had an ankle injury, a thumb injury, an Achilles injury.
Yeah, he's really struggled to start of the season.
But plays through them. Alvin Williams. Baseline, met by 3 Suns. Childs, nowhere to go. Lost it. Raptors got it back. Olajuwon with the jam.
It's a great pass from Keon Clark. Chris Childs needed to swing the ball when it came back to him. Roddy killed the play with the dribble. Vince Carter was wide open on the wing. But again, Raptors fortunate. The ball bounced in their favor, and Keon Clark made a good play.
4-point game. Olajuwon with his first bucket in the ball game.
Have to get Olajuwon involved in this game offensively.
Penny Hardaway.
That's a tough move, Rod. At his size, 6'6", 6'7", Penny Hardaway able to back Alvin Williams up off the dribble. Really looks smooth, even though he's not shooting a great percentage in this game. 6 of 16. Still looks smooth on the offensive end.
Does have 15 points. Keon Clark met by Jake Voskuhl. Shot clock winding down. Vince is hurt. Vince Carter got one in the ribs. Scoop shot doesn't go. Sean Marion. Raptor destroyer in the second half so far. 11 rebounds.
And see, Phoenix Suns not trying to take chances defensively, Rod. They're playing position defense. They're getting in front of the Raptors, and they're staying there, forcing difficult shots.
Marion turnaround. Yes. Sean Marion, 12 points, 11 boards.
Isolations right now. Penny Hardaway going against the shorter Alvin Williams. Sean Marion against the even shorter or different, even more of a disparity between the height with him and Chris Childs.
Vince Carter. Childs, jump shot, no go. Marion, rebound again. Hardaway pushing up to Tony Delk. Delk waits, fires, gets it back. Good hustle by Delk. Rodney Rogers to Marion. What a third quarter for the Phoenix Suns and for Sean Marion in particular.
Hakeem Olajuwon's walking up the floor. He's signaling to his teammates, get a timeout. He looks like he's winning. He's been going up and down. No one's seen the bat. No one's giving him the ball. You want your big guys to keep running and defend. You've got to start passing the basketball.
Vince Carter is fouled. The hook shot goes. And he will shoot to make it a 3-point play when we come back. A timeout on the floor. Suns running and gunning right now, opening up an 8-point lead. 2:40 to go in the third.
Driving to the playoffs is brought to you by Hyundai. Hyundai, driving is believing.
Over in the Western Conference, San Antonio has begun their climb to the top. The Spurs have won 4 in a row and lead the Midwest by 1 game over the Timberwolves. Tim Duncan leads the way, averaging just over 23 points a game, with 19-year-old rookie Tony Parker providing some added excitement.
Driving to the playoffs is brought to you by Hyundai. Hyundai, driving is believing.
Grimace from Vince Carter. Only 8 Raptor points this quarter. Phoenix opening up a 64-56 lead. Here is where Vince got smacked in the ribs. Right there, that elbow from Rodney Rogers.
And right elbow coming up and popping Vince Carter. Rod, Raptors.
That's a guy you do not want to get bumped by.
You don't want to run into Rodney Rogers, that's for sure. But Raptors had 9 points in the fourth quarter against the Boston Celtics last Sunday, and really shot the ball horribly. And the Raptors percentage right now plummeting down to 33%. Vince Carter, good numbers relative to his team, 25 points, but even Vince has to try to simplify the game a little bit and get his teammates involved. Olajuwon not in the game anymore. You know, he's got 10 rebounds. He wasn't a factor offensively for one reason, Rod. Teammates didn't involve him in the offense.
Well, one of the things the Raptors did in the second quarter, Jake Bosco has it stripped, is exactly that, though. Able to steal the basketball. They played tighter defense in that second quarter, and it led to a big run.
Well, Rob, you have to really look at who you're playing against. Jake Bosco, as we've mentioned over and over in this game, is a guy that basically is a garbage player around the basket and runs the floor. You do not let him get inside of you where he can get a layup, because that's what he's going to score on, layups. This is Vince's previous shot that he made. He took an elbow in the back after getting a shot in the ribs that we showed you. But the last thing you want to do is reward Jake Bosco, Rod, just for moving on the floor. You want to stay inside him. Don't let him get behind you where you can get an opportunity to score a layup or get fouled. And this is where the Raptors are committing mental mistakes at the defensive end, knowing who you're playing against, establishing the position, playing the angles on the floor.
66-57. Tracy Murray's back in the ball game for Toronto. Vince trying to get it inside, gives it outside to Murray. Leaner from the foul line. Bosco knocked it out of bounds. It will be Toronto ball.
Another example of a difficult shot when you just come into a game, Rod. You want to ease into the game. Tracy Murray in the second quarter got open looks, made the Suns pay for that. Right now, you don't want to come into the game forcing a shot.
Only 2 on the shot clock. So a quick one here. Raptors could not get it going. Bo Outlaw. Vince stripped him of it. So did Jerome Williams. Toronto again. Raptors getting back.
Skiles thought there should have been a foul on that play. Looked like there was some contact when Bo Outlaw tried to go up with it.
Scott Skiles, who used to play in the NBA.
Great passer.
In fact, has the NBA record for most assists in a ball game. 30 assists.
And you know what? Not just a great passer, but a tough customer. Scott Skiles was a mean, physical player in the backcourt. If you weren't in position, if the offense wasn't being run properly, he would let you know. And if you took a bad shot, don't you think that you were going to get the ball again. It wasn't going to come back to you. And he'd make it clear that you better do what you're supposed to do on the floor. And that's what you really expect from a point guard or floor leader.
One of the few players, one of the few coaches in the NBA who has actually also played with some of his players. Penny Hardaway in Orlando. Skiles played alongside him. Tom Gugliotta. And Skiles was playing in Washington.
And Scott Skiles is a straight shooter, Rod. He lets guys know exactly what he expects. And they obviously have heard about his playing career, where he was a very tough customer, understood how the game was to be played, and got the job done, the blue-collar play.
Vince Carter, trouble from the line today. 6 of 10 from the free throw line. 26 points, though, for Carter. 66-57 to score. Carter right up on Penny Hardaway. Pick and roll with Rodney Rogers. Rogers wanted it. Knocked out of bounds. It will be Toronto ball.
Good job by Vince Carter to deny the ball into Rodney Rogers, and then ended up deflecting off his hand.
Under 90 seconds to go, third quarter. Not a good quarter for Vince Carter's Raptors. Good feed inside to Jerome Williams. Too strong to the rack, though. Did not hit the rim, so the shot clock keeps going. 6 on the shot clock. Childs will have to launch it. Clark inside. A good move by Chris Childs on the feed. Looked like he had nothing left and found Keon Clark.
Well, he didn't panic, Rod, with the clock ticking down. Chris Childs maintained his composure. Give Keon Clark credit for getting open on the baseline and giving Childs someone to throw the ball to.
Keon Clark has a double-double. Penny Hardaway now with 17 points.
Penny Hardaway taking really good shots here in the second half. Vince Carter dropping one down.
And it's 28, make it 29 now for Vince Carter. Again, loves playing against the Phoenix Suns. Right now, his team, though, down by 6. Tony Delk off the wing. Hardaway bumping with Carter. Rodney Rogers. Carter picking up Rogers. Hardaway the three-pointer off the rim. Delk. Back out to Penny. Slow it down for the last shot. The shot clock is off. Hardaway and Keon Clark. 6 seconds in the quarter. Penny spinning. Double team. Bounce pass to Outlaw. Out to Rodney Rogers. No. So the Phoenix Suns come out of the locker room with fire. The Raptors have no way to extinguish it. They do go on a mini run late in the quarter, but they still trail by 6.
Sean Marion and company. Marion with 14. Vince Carter, really the one player in the Raptors able to score. Penny Hardaway also getting it done.
The NBA on CTV, brought to you by Hyundai. Driving is believing. And by Schick Extreme 3 Triple Blade Disposable Razors. And by Moore's Clothing for Men. Well made, well priced, well dressed.
For people who are demanding.
Extremely.
Schick Extreme 3. Triple blade performance. Pivoting head. Perfect grip. And best of all, after a whole bunch of great shaves, you just toss it and serve up a new one, which is rather convenient.
Extremely.
Schick Extreme 3.
Schick. Shave something.
Suns by 6 after 3. The Raptors, Leo Rellens only shot 6 of 21 in the third quarter, 28.6%.
And that's why you see that plummeting percentage, just 34% for the Toronto Raptors. Perfect 14 of 14 from the Suns at the free throw line. But check out the big three of Stephon Marbury, Anthony Hardaway, and Sean Marion getting the job done right now. 16, 17, and 14 points.
Wow. Nice to have a talented trio like Dallas with Nowitzki, Nash, and Finley, and Milwaukee with Cassell and Allen and Robinson. Rodney Rogers, an 18-footer, drains it.
You got to get a hand up. Rodney Rogers started to warm up in the second half. He's got double figures now with 10.
Shades of last week for the Raptors when they played so poorly against the Boston Celtics. Today, though, a lot of credit to the Phoenix Suns. They have run the Raptors ragged.
Now, remember Jason Kidd, the numbers, the assists, right, Rod? A lot of complaints about Stephon Marbury. He's got 16 points in the game. Guess what? Along with that other 2 he just dropped in there for 18, Stephon Marbury has 11 assists in this ball game and only 1 turnover.
Vince Carter operating the offense right now. Childs off the screen. Keon Clark wants it. Gets it. Bumping with Outlaw. Spin to the hoop. Clark gets it back again. Back out to Vince. Dan Marley right up on him. Right up on him. Tries to shake him. Carter the hook shot. Yes.
That's a tough shot by Vince Carter. You see what Dan Marley's trying to do, Rod? He's taking the 3 away, so we're not going to give you that. We're not going to allow you to get the team back in the game, and he's hoping to get help. Even though he did get help, that's a great shot by Carter.
Tony Delk, rainbow shot. Tracy Murray rebound. Childs bringing it up this time.
We were caught saying this last week. The Raptors can't rush to get back in this game. Execute properly, take your time, play good defense, and there's a lot of time to get back in the game. If you try to do it too quickly, the Suns will capitalize, and you won't have a chance.
Carter on a leaner. Again, Vince Carter. Now 12 of 23 from the field, 33 for Vince, near his average against the Suns.
And you see what he's trying to do, Rod. He's trying to attack the basket. He's trying to get into the lane. Marley taking away the 3. Vince saying, okay, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be aggressive, and I'm not going to settle for that.
Bo Outlaw whistle for a loose ball foul on the back of Keon Clark.
Vince Carter trying to play against Marley. See the contact. Marley really getting up on him. Vince having to jump into the lane. That's a great shot, Rod. A little 2-foot jump stop into the lane. Nobody's going to block that shot with Vince's leaping ability once he gets in there.
Interesting to watch what they're doing. The Suns, when they do bring Marley out on, Vince Carter. Although Marley now sits down. When they bring a player out, they leave a player back. So when Vince does drive, they immediately have help.
Well, it's pretty simple right now. Vince Carter's got 33 points. Only one other player in double figures for the Toronto Raptors. So what you're going to say is, Vince, you're not going to get it done. Somebody else is going to have to win this game and beat us. That would be the strategy, in my opinion, of the Scott Skiles right now. Get up on Vince Carter, try to get a lot of help, but make somebody else step up and meet the challenge of beating the Suns, because you know Vince Carter has proven he can do it.
Keon Clark is fouled by Stephon Marbury. Not a shooting situation, not in the penalty yet. Third personal for Marbury. Sean Marion has 3. Vince Carter has 3, along with Keon Clark and Alvin Williams. Murray, cross court, 4 on the shot clock. Jerome Williams rattles it home.
Scott Skiles immediately calling a timeout. Raptors closing the gap to 4 points. He wants to calm his team down and get their defense back to where it was when they made the run.
Looks like Stephon Marbury may have tweaked his ankle or his calf. We'll get an update in a moment. 6-0 run for Toronto. The Junkyard Dog hits 72-68 at the ACC.
NBA ファンファクトリー。
Ready for you from Rogers AT&T. Phone with 6 months airtime starting from just $99.99 all in. Imagine.
The NBA on CTV. Brought to you by Molson Canadian. I Am Canadian by Nike Canada, who encourages you to just do it. And by Rogers. Imagine a better wireless world. And by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions. Visit us at gmcanada.com.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
It has not come easy for the Toronto Raptors of late. Next Sunday, Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards in town. We'll have a game around the event. 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific.
Wizards just beat the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki didn't play. Stephon Marbury a little banged up on that last play. Get a look trying to help out on Keon Clark as he comes down. Looks like he takes a shot in his right mid-thigh area. And there he is, rubbing it a little bit, trying to loosen it up. I'm sure we'll see him back in the game. But how about the Wizards? They beat the Dallas Mavericks without Dirk Nowitzki. And Michael Jordan and his team, even though they're struggling, they've won 7 games this season. Remember, last year they won 19 all year.
Raptors almost got the ball back. Sean Marion's hook shot is short. Vince Carter now took this team on his shoulders on Friday night against the Denver Nuggets.
Remember, Raptors gave up a lead of 13 points they had over the Denver Nuggets, much like they've given up a lead that they had here. They just have to refocus.
Crowd chanting now up, and it's a jump ball. Looked like it might be an up and down violation, but a jump ball to Keon Clark.
Good defense. Rodney Rogers got 2 hands on the ball as Keon Clark kind of fumbled it, bringing it up. Tracy Murray dropping the ball off. Keon Clark losing it on the way up, and right there, Rodney Rogers had a hand on it.
That was a smart play by Rodney Rogers. I don't think he can match the hops.
No, but Keon Clark catching the ball and directing it off the jump.
Vince Carter slammed to the floor. Immediately surrounded by his teammates.
Now, Rod, the fans don't like this play, but as Vince Carter comes inside, see, there's the hard contact. Not overly aggressive, but just a good foul as Vince Carter drives to the lane, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to let anybody know, Vince Carter or anybody else, if you're the Phoenix Suns, that you can come in and get a good look at the hoop.
4 on the shot clock, no call on the play, intercepted by Rogers.
Marbury back in the game. Phoenix Suns did a real nice job of clogging up the middle. There was no room to make that pass.
4-point game. Lots of time left in this 4th quarter. Suns have lost 2 straight after winning 5 in a row. Jerome Williams the steal. Childs on the wing, and he'll go to the line. Stephon Marbury, the blocking violation. That is foul number 4 on the guy they call Starbury.
A smart move by Chris Childs. He saw that Marbury was trying to get back, trying to get position, but he just wasn't there. Now, you can't play around with the basketball if you're Sean Marion around Jerome Williams, but watch, Marbury trying to get back. Chris Childs sees he's not there, jumps right into him before he can get that position. Being the aggressor, being the one initiating the contact, but knowing the defense is not established, and you can come away with a couple of shots.
Former New Jersey Net and New York Knick, Chris Childs. What did you make of the Jeff Van Gundy situation in New York?
I was surprised, not surprised that he retired or got out of coaching right now, but surprised that he did it in mid-season. Van Gundy is such a professional, such a meticulous preparer for games. He's as detailed a coach as there is in the NBA.
You think he'll get some sleep now?
No, I bet you he'll still be watching games till the wee hours of the evening.
Sean Marion couldn't make it go, wanted a call. Raptors can tie the ball game up here, and they do. Great look by Chris Childs. Getting that ball into the middle of the floor. Phoenix doing a poor job getting back, and he finds Keon Clark for an easy dunk. A game of runs here this afternoon, Leo Rellis. Both sides going at each other. Marbury high off the glass. What a play again by Stephon Marbury. And this is the way the third quarter started out for Phoenix, with Marbury attacking the basket. He's got the quickest first step on the floor. He's the one that has to look to get by the defense, by the initial defender. And if he doesn't have an option to score, that's when he has to look for his teammates. Chris Childs saved the over and back, but right into Marion's hands. Hardaway to Sean Marion again. 16 now, 8 of 14 shooting for Sean Marion. And a whistle. Toronto ball, 76-72 Phoenix. Raptors really have to take care of the basketball. 11 turnovers. They've given up 15 points off of turnovers to the Phoenix Suns. What a hustle team, though. Much like the team the Raptors played last Sunday, the Boston Celtics. They rely on their work ethic. They really do. Boston Celtics, scrappy, and Phoenix Suns, that's the way they have to win games without the big man in the middle. 2 on the shot clock. Childs hammers it home. And again, showing a lot of composure with the clock ticking down. Chris Childs knew exactly how much time he had to get the defense up in the air, put the ball on the floor, and make the shot. 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. 76-74 Phoenix. Rodney Rogers, stolen again by Jerome Williams. What a job he's done off the bench. Childs to Tracy Murray, and a goaltending call. Well, Jerome Williams, as you said, Rod, has been a spark defensively. He's taken the ball away from Murray, and this time takes it away from Rodney Rogers. If you don't protect it, if you're not careful with it, he's always moving his hands. He's going to get a piece of the ball. And Chris Childs, again, doing a great job delivering the pass, patiently waiting for his teammates to catch up to him. 76-76. Hardaway will go to the line and make it a 3-point lead. And Hardaway continues to come through. He's got 19 points here getting into the lane. Childs looked like he may have had that position, but getting it just a little bit late, moving to the right as Hardaway was getting there. A good call by the officials. And it is a 3-point lead. Different team than the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, but very same in that three-headed monster. They can come at you in many different ways. Marbury being more of the Cassell type, and Hardaway perhaps being more of a Ray Allen type. Vince Carter the other way, and now Vince with 35. And you see how simple it is for the Toronto Raptors. Post-up situations, a little movement, get the ball inside. Remember, there's not a true shot blocker, not a big force down low for the Phoenix Suns. Bo Outlaw's the closest thing they have to somebody filling that role. 1-point Phoenix lead. Rodney Rogers. Rebound, Vince Carter. That really wasn't a good shot for the Phoenix Suns to settle on that possession. Childs. Bounce pass baseline. Probably ill-advised at that time. See, Chris Childs is an aggressive player, Rod. He believes he can make the play, tries to make the play. At times, a little too aggressive, and decisions are skewed.
によって夫
Ready for you from Rogers AT&T. Phone with 6 months airtime starting from just $99.99 all in. Imagine.
Time now to show you the Rogers connection of this game, and it came from the Phoenix Suns. Stephon Marbury, one of his 11 assists, nice bounce pass up to Jake Voskuhl, who converts the field goal. That connection brought to you by Rogers.
I don't know how you would categorize this ball game today in Toronto. Field goal percentages, you mentioned skewed when you went to break. Field goal percentages are in complete disarray. Why has this game gone the way it has gone? A game of runs, both teams. It looked like Phoenix could take control. Toronto comes right back. And look at the way the Raptors are shooting in the fourth quarter.
Well, both teams striving for consistency, something we talked about earlier. Neither team establishing that at the defensive end, and both teams taking turns going away from some of the things that work for them offensively. Raptors right now in a good rhythm, trying to get things happening at the defensive end and getting better looks offensively.
Looks like it might come down to the wire again today at the Air Canada Center. Penny Hardaway rips the cords, 81-78 Phoenix.
Yeah, Tracy Murray's going to have a difficult time guarding Hardaway simply because he's so good with the basketball. Remember, when Hardaway's on the floor, Rod, it's like having a second point guard along with Marbury.
Bounce pass into Keon Clark has been so effective today, but working on Sean Marion, great defender.
Now, Keon Clark has to move quicker in a post, Rod. You don't have that much time against a quick team to play with the ball.
Shot clock was at 1. It is Toronto ball with a fresh 24.
Good job of Tracy Murray staying inside there, helping out on the offensive glass. Raptors have 14 offensive rebounds in this game. Remember, last time they met, they had 15 offensive rebounds.
Vince Carter wants it. Marion on him. Baseline for Carter. Fall away. Again, Toronto ball. They got lucky that time. 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Alvin Williams will replace Tracy Murray for Toronto.
Usually you don't see Vince Carter miss a shot that badly. Roddy likes that baseline drive and fading back. Marion did a good job, stayed with him. But still, Vince is very comfortable with making that shot.
Carter off the wing, in and out. Hardaway off to Marbury. 4 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Penny.
The adjustment made defensively. Alvin Williams on Penny Hardaway right now as opposed to Tracy Murray.
10 on the shot clock. Marbury bumped by Carter. Hardaway in again. See, Penny Hardaway lighting it up. A three-pointer.
Great players know who to look for. Penny Hardaway feeling good on the floor right now. And Stephon Marbury making sure that he finds him and gives him that shot.
Toronto in his 6-point hole again. Almost stolen by Hardaway. Bad pass by Chris Childs. Cross court. Alvin Williams couldn't handle it.
That's where Chris Childs sometimes has to just tone his game down a little bit. He's very aggressive, tries to make it happen. See the Raptors with 13 turnovers. The question with those turnovers, they've given up 17 points. That's the problem.
Penny Hardaway taking over himself in this fourth quarter. And the officials say it's Toronto ball. Phoenix disputes that. And I'd like to see the replay because I think it's Suns ball. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Off of Keon Clark. And the officials have changed their call, which makes Scott Skiles a lot happier, though you wouldn't know it looking at his face. 84-78. Bull Outlaw to Marion. Eyed the three ball for a moment. Takes it.
See, that's
nothing there.
Again, we kind of alluded to that earlier, Rod. The number's the same as Reggie Miller's, but the three-point shot is nowhere near the same.
Well, let's face it, not many players can even save the same foot. The three-pointers and Reggie Miller has made a living off of that three-point shot. Vince Carter met by two Suns. Jerome Williams Working inside to Vince again. Open shot. 3-ball coming. Outlaw to Jerome Williams. The putback's good.
Let's see, when you move the ball and you take a little bit more time on the shot, Rod, you're going to have those extra opportunities to get the offensive rebounds. And offensive rebounds have been a strength of the Raptors in this game.
2.5 minutes to go, and Stephon Marbury wants to talk about this with head coach Scott Skiles as the Raptors pull within 4 points.
And Rod, if you don't think this game is important for the Phoenix Suns, their next 2 games at home, San Antonio and Sacramento. So you know they have to come away from Toronto with a win.
The best thing about the Coors Light Silver Sweet Football Party is you don't have to play football to get in. See details at a participating bar near you. No purchase necessary. Must be legal drinking age. Are you ready for some football?
4-point ball game. Vince Carter 35, Marbury and Hardaway 45 between the two of them. Toronto shooting only 39%. Can the Raptors pull out another at Air Canada Center? Here's Sunil Joshi.
Hey guys, just at the end of the timeout as they were breaking the huddle, Mo Peterson, who has not played since early in the third quarter, only has 7 points, all coming in the first quarter. Vince Carter walked up to him and said, "Hey, Mo Pete, we need you to take over this one for us, guys."
Vince Carter trying to provide a little confidence, Rod. He knows his teammates struggling. Vince acknowledging Mo Pete's strength and presence on the floor, and that's something you look for when you're leaders to get other people going.
Marbury watched by Childs. Vince on Penny Hardaway. Bo Outlaw hands it off to Penny again. Blocked by Keon Clark. Vince kept it in bounds. On the score table, Carter comes back. Corner to Peterson. Yes, 3-pointer. What a play by the Raptors.
And what a decision by Vince Carter. Come in here, get things done, and he gets the ball.
Vince Carter sprawled out on the scorer's table, comes back and dishes a great pass to Morris Peterson. But the other way, Stephon Marbury, high off the glass again. What a play by Marbury, who has 22 in this ball game.
Rod, every time the Raptors have looked like they're going to come right back in and take this game, Marbury has answered either with a pass or a drive to the bucket.
Sellout crowd at Air Canada Center. 3-point ball game, under 2 to go. Childs, watched by Marbury now. Vince for 3. He got it! Vince Carter, 38 points.
Great job by Carter to come back to the basketball. He saw the double team coming at Chris Childs. He came right to the elbow extended and knocked it down.
Now some pressure from the Raptors. This crowd rocking now. Hardaway on the switch. Watched by Childs. High off the glass. Jerome Williams fighting with Bo Outlaw. It will be Phoenix ball.
Good pressure on the offensive glass. Hardaway following up. Bo Outlaw banging. Giving themselves one more opportunity with a full shot clock.
With the exception of last Sunday's game, this crowd in Toronto this season has been getting its money's worth.
Oh, absolutely. Another game coming down to the wire.
86 all. Rodney Rogers with the dunk over Keon Clark. Missed assignment defensively for Toronto.
Yeah, bad timing for a miscue like that, Rod. There's no way anybody gets to the basket uncontested off an out-of-bounds play.
Clark with a double-double. 10 points, 14 rebounds. Suns take it the other way, will slow it down. 2-point lead for Phoenix. Marion threw it away. There's a brain lock by Sean Marion.
The Raptors catching a big break. Tough play, throwing the ball to Vince Carter in the previous possession, and Sean Marion getting the ball. Looked like he saw Rodney Rogers. Rodney Rogers wasn't looking at the ball. And a turnover.
Final minute. 88-86 Phoenix. Vince Carter, who was the hero Friday against Denver. Ball away. Oh, he is feeling it. Look at his face.
They were forcing Carter baseline. Marion was up on his left shoulder. Vince Carter's got 40 points. 9th 40-point game of his career.
28 seconds to go. 88-88. Rogers to Bo Outlaw, and he's fouled.
The Suns managed to keep coming back, Rod, with something easy under the basket. That time, nice feed from Rogers. Underneath to Bo Outlaw, getting the defense up in the air. Smart move. Now Vince Carter, you see the forcing baseline. Before Outlaw can get to him, he goes right-handed dribble to the baseline side, fades back away from Marion and knocks it down.
Bo Outlaw, only 52% from the line this season. 71% while with the Phoenix Suns.
Bo Outlaw, an unorthodox style at the free throw line.
89-88. Well, he's 50%. 1-point game. Raptors with a timeout and a chance to win it here.
Scott Skiles has to be very concerned. Vince Carter with the hot hand, having another tremendous performance, 40 points. But how about Mo Peterson? Vince Carter said, hey, we need you to take over the game. Vince saves the ball. Mo Peterson knocks down a big three. Here's the play right here. The great dive, the save, and then Chris Childs gets it back to Vince, who finds Mo Peterson. And again, maybe a premonition on Vince's part to say, Mo Peterson, you're going to have a big role here. But Vince Carter, as big as anybody down the stretch of games, he loves this time of the game. And he is in the zone.
21.2 ticks left. Raptors have had a couple of thrillers over the last week. In Atlanta, where Hakeem the Dream hit the shot. And then Friday night, Vince Carter, three-pointer to seal the deal with 1.4. Denver actually had a very good chance to win the ball game in overtime. Ray LaFrance couldn't hit a lay-in.
Yeah, Vince actually got a piece of that ball as LaFrance caught the ball. But Rod, Vince sitting at 40 right now. He knocks down another one. He'll tie what he did the other day against Denver with 42 and provide the Raptors with a 1-point victory. So the focus has to be keeping the ball out of Vince Carter's hands if you're Scott Skiles.
89-88. Here was the inbounds play to Rodney Rogers. Jerome Williams caught flat-footed as Rogers blew by him and Keon Clark could only watch.
Yeah, you can't get caught behind anybody coming to the basketball in an out-of-bounds play, Rod. If anything, you're forcing away from the bucket. Now, very important for the Raptors. Take your time. You have the full clock, almost 21 seconds. You can come right down.
You have a couple options here. You can bring it down for the last shot, or you can take a quick shot.
Well, I don't think you want to take a quick shot, Rod, but you want to take it down, work the ball around, but give yourself a chance to get a rebound if you do miss the shot. And the Phoenix Suns have one foul to give at this juncture.
All right, Sunil, bring us up to date.
Okay, Lenny Wilkins set up the play. The play simply is Vince Carter and or Mo Peterson. He told him we have a foul to give, so get ready to catch and shoot. Then Vince Carter jumped in and yelled at Keon Clark and Jerome Williams saying, guys, if we miss, go for the ball and dunk it so we can get a foul. Do not try to lay it off the basket. Go for the dunk.
All right. Thank you, Sunil. Here we go. 21.2 left. Mo Pete inbounding to Chris Childs. What a shot by Peterson. What a game by Carter. Here comes Vince. 40 points today for Vince Carter. Watching the clock. Watched by Marion. And a foul to give right there.
And Vince knew it. He was taking his time. He was waiting for that foul to come. And for the Phoenix Suns, they're going to force the Raptors to reset now.
And maybe take a timeout, and they do, with 9 seconds left. So the Raptors take their final timeout. 89-88, 1-point game, 9 seconds to go.
And Sean Marion really made an effort to deny Vince Carter the ball. Obviously, that has to be the focus right now. An all-out effort to keep the ball out of Vince Carter's hand. It's pretty simple, Rod. Vince Carter has proven he can win games. The only other player that's knocked down a big one this season, obviously, Hakeem Olajuwon beat the Atlanta Hawks. But Vince Carter is the man right now with the hot hand and feeling good about his game. Scott Skiles has to keep the ball out of his hand.
You mentioned it doesn't get any easier for the Phoenix Suns. Toronto Raptors will play San Antonio Wednesday, a game we'll have on TSN down the dial. And then, of course, On Sunday, Toronto will play against the Washington Wizards in the first ever regular season matchup between Vince Carter and the man he is most compared to, Michael Jordan. Tonight, coming up, Off the Record with Michael Landsberg. Pinball Clements. Gotta love the pinball.
Great guy. Tremendous.
Does a lot of work for charities throughout Canada. He's the president of the Toronto Argos, and he'll be on that show coming up. So what's going to happen here? Suns by 1. 12-9 are the Phoenix Suns. Raptors are 12-8.
All right, Mo Peterson took the ball out of bounds on the last possession. Oftentimes, the player that takes the ball out of bounds becomes the forgotten man and can step inbounds and look to receive the basketball back for a pretty good look.
Down to the wire we go again at the Air Canada Center.
The other option will be interesting to see. Remember what happened in the Raptors game against the Denver Nuggets after Vince Carter made that great jump shot. Rayful Fence almost got a tip, and if the focus is on a perimeter to keep the ball away from the shooters, maybe Keon Clark breaks to the basket.
Quickly, Sunil Joshi.
Okay, Scott Skiles in the huddle told his player, jump out quickly to the shooter. Secondly, if the guy gets by you, make sure that the secondary defense is there to jump in and double team if necessary.
Thank you, Sunil. Morris Peterson again. Will he be that forgotten guy inbounding the ball? Raptors lining up for the play. Childs, Carter. Vince gets the ball. Carter to the hole. No. Gets it back. Yes! With 3 seconds left. Lots of time still left in the clock. Vince Carter makes it a 90-89 lead for Toronto.
But there's a player that wants to win. The will to win is absolutely incredible. He went after that ball on the first miss. His momentum was taking him forward. He had the best access to this miss. Look at the way he's going. He knows the shot's not going in. His eyes on the ball. He goes right after it. He's the first one to it, and great touch to get that ball right back into the basket. Look at the focus here. He knows that shot's coming off the rim, and he's the first man to the ball.
Back-to-back 42-point games for the star, the superstar of the Toronto Raptors. Will that basket be enough to beat the Phoenix Suns? They still have a lot of time here. 3 seconds left.
Exactly. 3 seconds. A lot of time for Phoenix to get a great shot off. Now, amazingly, Sean Marion did not do such a great job to deny Vince Carter the ball. He really didn't do much to get open, Rod. Way too easy to allow the best player on the floor to get a look like that.
Well, Vince has had a 46-point game against Phoenix, a career-high 51 against Phoenix, so he lights up the Suns again. Will this 42-pointer be enough for the Raptors' 13th win of the season?
Now, right now, if I'm Lenny Wilkins, my main concern is Stephon Marbury. He's the guy, if he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it all the way to the basket. He's a great penetrator, and if you do stop that, he has enough time, if he pushes it up quickly, to find somebody for a quick shot. But he's the guy that you really have to keep the ball out of his hands.
He can blow by an opponent like nothing. Similar to Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury. 90-89. Toronto.
Suns also have Tony Delk on the floor, so Marbury gets the ball, looks to penetrate. Tony Delk, a tremendous three-point shooter.
So here we go. Penny Hardaway to inbound. Delk, Marbury, Marion, Rodney Rogers, Jerome Williams, Vince Carter, Chris Childs, Keon Clark, Mo Peterson.
Rod, remember, with Jason Kidd in the lineup, the Suns did not have somebody in the point guard position that could take a shot. Will Marbury be the man?
Rodney Rogers, inside to Hardaway. He got it! He got it! Penny Hardaway wins it for the Phoenix Suns at the buzzer. What a play by the Suns.
Rod, we talked about the forgotten man, the man who takes the ball out of bounds. Pass inside. Great job by Hardaway to slash right down the lane, and the find by Rodney Rogers. Watch as Hardaway takes the ball out of bounds. He goes right down the middle and gets an easy 2 before to beat the clock.
What a fabulous play by the Phoenix Suns. cliffhanger here in the final moments at the ACC. Here's Sunil with Penny.
Gentlemen, Penny Hardaway, let's talk about that play with 3 seconds exactly. What was it? What was the call?
The call was for us to get the ball into Rodney Rogers and Stephon Marbury to back cut. But I don't know who was playing me out of bounds. They stepped up and I went back door, and the pass was there and I got the bucket.
All right, tell me about this game in itself. This one was going back and forth all game long.
You know what? This is a great place to play. I love Toronto, and you know when you come to this building, Vince Carter's going to make a lot of shots. Their team played hard, our team played hard, and thank God we came out with the victory.
Penny Hardaway, congratulations. You broke the hearts of the Raptors fans, but congratulations anyway.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rod?
Oh, yeah, 1 earned for Penny today. Backdoor play, great feed by Rodney Rogers to Penny. The Suns beat Vince Carter and the Raptors. 91-90 the final. Let's send it back to the studio.
Where we are sitting here, like you, enjoying what was a great finish. The Raptors just a fraction of a second away from another heart-beating, heart-pounding win, but instead it goes down as their 3rd loss in their last 4 games. Brian Heaney, Jay Triana with their final thoughts right after this.
Someone